if I had to start a business in 2026, I'd pick KDP. Now, for those who don't know what KDP is, it's basically a platform on Amazon that allows you to publish books without holding any inventory. So you just do the designing and the script and you can publish it on Amazon. You just have to worry about what niche to create the book in, creating the book itself, and doing the marketing to get your book seen and ultimately end in lots of sales. Now, side note, I already have started KDP. I've been in this, or not have been in, but I have started KDP, I'd say. Back in 2020 is when I kind of took things seriously in COVID, and it's been one of my main ventures that I've done. Whilst I haven't been able to grow it substantially, it does make me a nice small full-time income alongside my other streams of income. But this has always been the majority. No matter what I add to it, or if I leave it alone for a year, over a year, it consistently makes me money. Now, this channel is me documenting my journey to 100k. And the reason I want to do that is because, like I said, I have been able to consistently make money through KDP. I've been creating new books or not, I have been able to consistently make money through investments I made at the beginning of this business. Now, the reason why I'm creating this video and ultimately telling you that I want to make 100k is because I need an accountability partner, and I need to make this public for myself, to keep myself this promise, and also to document my journey to ultimately help others who are at a similar path, or not at a similar path, but who are ultimately wanting to achieve similar things to what I do. Maybe the goal isn't 100k, maybe it's just to start the business and to have proof that it actually works, or it is to create 100k. A side note also is that I have been able to achieve months where I make 5 figures, which I could show you later, but on average I haven't been able to make that. It's not a consistent monthly recurring income. It spikes some months and it drops other months. So ultimately the aim is to create a consistent average income, which would equate to 100k. So that would be roughly 9 to 10k a month, although 10k would be a bit more than 120k, but just 10k for ease. And my goal is to take you along the journey. So if that's something that interests you, then I'm going to show you how I plan to do this. I want to make this kind of journey from 1k to 100k. That's what I'm going to call it. And I will do this by documenting book creation timelines. So the whole process of creating a book, from research to creating the draft, or should I say the book outline, to then the draft and the final draft, and also the book cover. I will also be documenting then my book launch, from publishing it onto Amazon to gathering reviews and putting Amazon ads towards that book and getting that book ranked on the first page and ultimately seen by all potential customers. And I've already mentioned it, I'll be documenting my ads. So the journey of those ads from when I publish them on the launch date to how they're progressing and how I'm optimizing that. And I will also be documenting all investments taken. So for example, if I've invested in softwares or programs to help me create my manuscripts, whether it be AI or whether it be freelancing websites to maybe get outsourced tasks, I'm going to be very transparent and take you along the whole journey. Why am I doing this? Well, as I just mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm doing this number one, and I'm doing it from like the top to bottom reasons in order is accountability. I believe that I was able to get my business to a certain level, and I was able to achieve really high income months, but the reason why it wasn't consistent is maybe because I didn't have anyone to hold me accountable. I didn't put my goals out there. I maybe sometimes let the thoughts govern my actions, and when I would lose motivation, when I would have a bad day overall, or I let other ventures, I got distracted and I went elsewhere. I thought the grass was greener, and ultimately that didn't allow me to stay consistent and really grow my business to what it could be, which honestly has just been probably something that is a big lesson for me, to really see that if something is working, you should grow that, continue it. You shouldn't look elsewhere. And also, when you think of the business model of Amazon, you should really understand the gold mine that is. And also, what I did do is I allowed the fear of the other people, or the fear of the fact that it's not ultimately your business, because ultimately you're making money through Amazon's audiences, things like that stop me from wanting to invest more. But then as time's gone on, I've seen people who maybe started similar time to I did, and that didn't stop them from growing it. And when I look at what they've been able to achieve, I am really in awe of that. And they didn't make that mistake that I did, which was to take my foot off the pedal. And the fruits of their labor have ultimately grown exponentially, and that's what I'm inspiring to do. And hopefully documenting my journey will ensure that I continue on that path, and also hopefully also inspire others, which brings me on to my next second point, which is ultimately I want to inspire others. I do believe that there's so much noise out there in terms of what business to get into. With AI coming up, there's just so much noise as to what can make you financially free. And I ultimately think that for anybody that doesn't want the risk of having to invest so much in like inventory and stocks, and for a business they may not be 100% sure in or passionate, or maybe they don't have the means to do that, or maybe they don't have a business idea which you can get funding from, this is such a great way to make money. And not only that, you can make it with everything that's going on now with social media, with AI. You can make this business as creative as you want. You can add a whole different dynamic to it, which is what I'm also doing, which is YouTubing my journey, because I know that also would inspire people, and this is also a creative outlet as well. But it's just an addition to it. There's so many things that you can make of this business. So yeah, and you don't know where it could lead you as well. And gosh, the place I could have been in had I really, really put all my eggs into this basket. But yeah, that leads me on to number 3, which is to create and not consume. Now, one thing that I did do, or I'm guilty of, is consuming. I'm not much of a scroller, but I'm a YouTube addict, or I wasn't a YouTube addict. When I want to start doing tasks for my business, one thing I can definitely get distracted by is YouTube. And it's not because I'm scrolling or watching any old video. It's I can just get lost and be overstimulated, or feel stimulated by the fact that I'm watching somebody with their results that they got from this business, or them teaching, and that made me feel good, and I felt like I was doing something. But ultimately I haven't been able to really have much growth, and I think that this was one thing that held me back. And so this is the year that I started creating and not consuming, and that would be with my KDP business. And also, instead of consuming content with YouTube, it would be to document what I am doing with my KDP, or bits of nice information that I think that would be helpful to others, and to put that out there. And then 4 is exponential growth. I just believe that there's so much that this business can result into, and for the risk that you take to doing it, it's worth it, because yeah, there's some risk there. The risk is investing your time into it. The risk is investing some money, but it's not in comparison to other business models in terms of what you would have to invest into it, and also what you can lose versus the gains. Now, I want to go on to the next slide, which is reasons why people fail, and reasons why people would fail to start that business or fail to get to the goal that they want to. And I've made a pie chart, and this is all just down to my own observations over time and from myself, really, as to what can get people to not reach their goals. And it's not about the wrong keywords or the wrong publishing into the wrong niche, or that keyword didn't work, it didn't have enough demand, it didn't have enough competition. It had too much competition. It was too oversaturated. It's not because of that. It's also not because the ads were expensive. Albeit having a really bad keyword that no one's searching for, or a keyword or a niche that is just like completely drowned with competition, or making ads really expensive for beginners, can be components as to maybe why your book fails, but it's not why you would fail KDP, because they're ultimately lessons that you would learn from. What makes you fail is consuming and not creating. So my point back to, yes, put a limit. Watching these videos, learning, you need to obviously do those things to understand things, to move the needle, to gather information that you then will implement yourself for your own business. But there needs to be a limit to when the positive gains and the positive impact that has turns into negative by negatively impacting the action that you take. And then also giving up too early. So going back to, maybe you have been reading all of the information, but it takes time to understand the perfect concoction between keywords, Amazon ads, launching your book, reviews, and trial and error, to get to that point of knowing what will work. So maybe you gave up too early at the point when that was about to change for you, or you just saw it as too much of a hill to climb, and that's really not the way. Because if I just give up now, when I've had months when I've made 5 figures in a month, or I am having money coming into my account by not doing anything to this business, and I give up now, that is absolutely insane. When you see what is just possible, when we have YouTube, when we have social media, when we can see, like, I have my own journey to go by, but I have other people's journey who can continue to go, and they're what they've been able to achieve from it, and they say the same thing, which is that kind of turnaround of your business from not making money to just exponentially growing is just about to come, and you never know when that will come, but you damn sure know that it won't come if you give up. I'm going to document this by doing weekly videos. Now, I'm going to promise to do one video because I am trying to obviously get my business to 100k, whilst now also taking up this new venture of YouTube as a nice side kind of like venture, to make this interesting, and also to hold me accountable, but also to make this a commitment, something that isn't scary. So committing to one video at least. If I publish more in a week, that's great, but minimum one video a week. And in that video, I'll be explaining what's working, what went well, what didn't, and all my decisions explained. They're just the few people out of all these people you can see on the screen that are managing to grab a piece of the pie for themselves, because there's plenty to go around, but only those few people are doing it. And those are the people that didn't give up. Those are the people that learned from what they published and improved on it and continued to do those things and didn't see investing as their business, whether it be time or money, as a failure. They saw it as a learning curve, and they continued to do that because they also didn't have a limited mindset. They believed that there was a piece of pie for everyone, which there is. And ultimately, I hope to, and I'm getting, I think, not a pie of what Amazon, what you would consider a piece of the pie of Amazon, but I'm already getting a chunk of that pie or a slice of that pie. I'm not getting a slice of that pie. I'm already getting a slither of a slice of that pie, but I want to get that full slice for myself, because there's a slice to go around for everybody. And so if this interests you, I hope that you stay invested, or if not, you get inspired by this video to just go and do your own thing and start that KDP business and get motivated to create something which ultimately can keep you secure, keep you financially free, allow you to make money that you can invest into other things. See it as that pillar to open other doors for you. It's not going to be, in the beginning, you want it to be the only thing that you do focus on in terms of, apart from your full-time job. But if you want this to grow, you should invest everything you have into it, and don't do what I did, which is venture off into other things and ultimately come back to KDP and realize that this is the best kind of venture to go down, because of the results it gives back. And this is what can happen if we all adopt this way of thinking. We all can get a piece of that pie. If this interests you, follow along. If you want to join me, let's go on this journey together. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.